Today we are in your presence with two weapons, a stick and a knife. Dealing with knife weapons is very demanding and dangerous in terms of martial arts, and there is a big challenge to deal with cold weapons in martial arts and self-defense. Wood weapons are one of the best weapons to deal with knives. Today, in this tutorial, you will learn step by step how to deal with a knife weapon using a stick. First, remember these 4 impact paths that have 4 different directions and hit exactly 4 points of our body. The attack in these paths, which ends at the neck and waist points, can be implemented with different weapons, which are implemented in Vito with 2 weapons, a knife and a stick. In this video, we protect ourselves against the possible danger of a knife attack by teaching defense and reaction against these 4 ways. Before starting the defense training of these attacks, be sure to try hitting these attack paths with different weapons. The first 2 blows, which hit the left and right parts of your neck respectively, are the most used paths for attack. Now, when your opponent attacks you with the winning knife to stab your neck, using the same path of impact and moving your legs, move your body away from the opponent's attack and use your weapon, which is a stick, which you have in your hand. Attack and hit the opponent's armed wrist and fingers. At the time of the opponent's attack, be sure to move your body in the direction away from the blow and make sure that this transfer is done with a slight rotation of the body to provide you with the position to hit. This defense is done with the opposite hand, and when the opponent attacks you with a knife with the right hand, the stick should also be in your left hand. Coordinate. Be sure to place your unarmed hand between your weapon and your face when your opponent attacks. This work has 2 important advantages. First, it gives you more ability to react at close range. And secondly, it prevents your own weapon from hitting your face, which happens in severe collisions of weapons. Now we move on to the next 2 strike paths. In these routes, the lumbar bone is attacked, and of course, when your hands are down, it destroys your wrist. To counter this open blow, we turn our body away from the side of the opponent's attack to the opposite side, like in the video, and by hitting the stick vertically from top to bottom, we target the fingers and armed wrist of our opponent. Be sure to practice the defense mode of these 2 strikes, both with the opponent and individually. Try to make your movements big enough to maintain a safe distance from your opponent's strike. To start using this defense, coordinate your armed hand with the opponent's armed hand. After performing these 2 defenses, you can use different strikes to disable the opponent. If these defenses are performed without moving the body, the opponent's knife will collide with your body. So be sure to observe the principles of body movement. Tips that are often mistaken. 1. Always keep in mind that when striking, your weapon travels a full path and the range of motion of your hand is full, because then your blow has enough power to incapacitate the opponent, and in addition, when you hit with a full range of motion, your hitting style is incredibly beautiful. 2. Always place your unarmed hand between your weapon and your face so that if necessary, you can respond to the attacks of Harbuff's unarmed hand and prevent the weapon from hitting your face. 3. Make sure your steps are as long as possible to maintain a safe distance from the opponent's weapon. If you use a defensive strike without stepping, the opponent's weapon will hit you. 4. Be sure to note that your step is not only to the sides, because the way is opened for the next attack of the unwanted opponent. For this reason, always take your steps to the sides and forward.